Alright, it's I'm playing Exodus, but I'm gonna be grinding. It's a grind fest today. I know I can't beat this guy without grinding, and it's disappointing. I thought I could parry all of his attacks, but I really can't. Maybe if I actually level up a lot, up to 40, I would stand a chance and try to get Genesis, Elemental Genesis, and then I wouldn't have this much problem. That's the game plan. Level up until 40, beat him, parry most of his attacks, kill the obelisk when they're out, and then beat the whole game just like that. I think 40 is a pretty good number. That's a great number in this game because in some RPGs you have to be like what, like almost max leveled or close to 60. So 40 would be a good number because it feels like it goes well. It's just I don't know, like 25 would it was overpowered. While I'm doing that, we'll watch a video. It's motocross. It's one of my favorite videos
At the
because how
pinnacle of
insane it
motocross,
is.
there are
I've never
two
been interested in
main
motocross.
championships. The MXGP, which takes place predominantly in Europe, and the AMA,
Remember, I've
which is
watched
based
this like
solely in the US. You might have
3
noticed,
or
however, that those
10 or
two
20
pieces of
times
footage
over
didn't look
2
inherently
years.
different. And that's because they're not.
Alright, now I have to go and find
Both championships span a plethora of
and
rounds that all
grind.
take place on rough, 2-minute-long dirt circuits consisting of both natural and man-made obstacles.
I can't go down.
At each round, two 30-minute motos are contested, which award 25 points to the winner, 22 for second, 20 for third, and so on down to 1 for the 20th
It's like a Red Robin.
points-paying position.
A Red Rob.
In fact, the only real difference between these two championships is one set of 40 badass riders line the gate at the MXGP, and another set of 40 badass riders line the gate in the AMA. So, naturally, ever since the two series have existed alongside one another, debate has raged.
Who is
as to
better?
which lot's faster. And in 2017, we got a rare opportunity to find out.
Virgil, you scumbag. Bro, Virgil runs weird. I forgot I'm not playing Virgil.
Coming.
I blocked. Alright, I forgot. You guys can't hear it. Holy sh... To get 3 turns. 6 turns. Killed.
In the penultimate round of his AMA championship, stretching an already
Nah, again.
Let's cover path where he was expected to wrap up his first Premier
Let's go.
Meanwhile, in
Might.
Sweden,
Let's go.
rookie Jeffrey Hurlings was continuing his epic comeback after having
Radiant
started
Slash.
the year's MXGP injured.
So the two Belgians, oh, the mistake there, making a mistake. Can't believe his luck.
Ooh, I think I won this.
Danger. Might be under threat here in the next lap or two. Oh,
Fuck.
there's no gears. His chain's off. Is that the title race over?
Unfortunately,
Ready to evade.
it was.
I have to invade 4.
This kicked off a pretty unique chain of events.
They're weak to electricity.
Jeffrey's next MXGP race was in the United States 2 weeks from now. And since he no longer
Yeah, I got it.
he was struck
We're clutching.
by a sudden inspiration.
Once we go back to the hotel, I was like, let's go maybe race in the
Gotta put up the volume.
give it a chance.
And just like that, the entire motocross industry was alight.
I think that's a little too loud, but oh well.
Yeah, sounds like it, right?
I'm
Yeah, sounds that way.
dead.
If he goes 1-1, I'm smashing my computer because I can't. If he goes 1-1, I'm off the grid. I'm probably on an island like Tom Hanks.
While all of this was going on, Hurlings crossed the Atlantic as fast as possible with his suspension, and that was it. You see, due to differing regulations, he wouldn't be able to ride his normal bike in
I
the
got
American
Lumina.
Championship.
The engine we had for the US here, they ride a little bit different compression than we have at home because in America they have different fuel and different pipe.
Different
Fortunately,
fuel and bike.
KTM US had the ever-injured Trey Canard riding for them at this time, so there was a spare factory bike
I unlocked
sidelined.
it.
The downside,
One more.
he was only going to get 1 day.
Oh no, one
set
day
it
to
up.
fix a bike.
An advantage.
Whoa, new weapon. Let me see, let me see. Luna, you got a new weapon. Heal skills generate 1 additional light stain. Ooh, generates an ice stain at the beginning of each turn.
By the time this footage released, the hype train was in full swing, and rumours that he'd set a new lap record around this prestigious facility did nothing to quell it.
We managed to get a pretty decent bike, I think, for the weekend. Maybe it's not topped up for me, but we'll make the best of the
We got the
situation.
strike. Last time, oh, 784, the higher the number, the, what is it like?
Well, it didn't take you long to blow my turns out. Sprints today. Alright, set our gate up.
They won't get into the best position. I think that's how it works.
As was his custom, Eli Tomac prepared for the last race at his family's ranch in the Rocky Mountains.
Gotta keep practicing.
Where he had to have been feeling nervous, because not 6 months prior, he'd choked what by all rights should have been his first Premier Class title.
Bro, I still hate that stuff.
That is a mental mistake by Eli Tomac, and it could cost him the championship.
Which all but handed the title to another KTM rider, Ryan Dungey. What's worse, his 2 closest title combatants this time around were yet more KTM riders, and it was highly theorised that Hurlings had been sent in as a ringer to help them win. A
Oh
rumour
no,
shot down
can't
by
help that.
Jeffrey himself.
I don't want to get in the mix with Baggett and Musquin and the Tomac title chase whatsoever. I'm just here to race, and yeah, that's it.
Whatever Hurlings claimed though, you've got to imagine that in the moment, Eli felt like a green target facing an orange army.
Such a weird sentence.
The track is different, you know, it's a one-day event, like we usually do 2 days. Here it's just 1 day, 2 times 15 minutes practice, and then straight into racing. So that's why we did press days. So once we get here, you know, if we could only be on Saturday, we only have 2 times 15 minutes practice. So that wouldn't be much, especially to a track we don't know. To be already able
What
to
the
ride 2
hell
times
is
20
this?
minutes, or at least get knowing the track.
Let's get some Jeffrey Hurlings predictions, please, for Indiana. I will go first. 4-2 on the day.
Fourth, huh?
Yeah. Maybe we tip over, you know? Maybe we get a better start.
Go 3-1. I'm gonna split the difference and go 3-2.
No,
All
3-2.
right, okay, so we're all in agreement that he is going to sniff the podium all the time.
Oh yeah.
With press day concluded and Hurlings seemingly pretty happy with the bike, he did a bit of sightseeing, whilst Tomac presumably hunted down Bigfoot, or whatever it is he gets up to.
Messed up, I
And
should
the
have never
internet
ran
had
to
all
this.
of Friday to stew over this exciting prospect of Europe versus America.
Just that one slash.
When Saturday morning dawned, we caught our first glimpse of the 784 class of Jeffrey Hurlings, who had to run that number because he hadn't earned a two-digit one in this series.
No!
And that he'd never raced it before, which only added to the consistent underestimation
let's go
of American
for-
journalists and fans.
Let's go for Blitz.
You see, here, 3 digits means
And then let's go
slow.
for Radiant Slash.
And a lot of people were unfamiliar with the MXGP as a whole, let alone Jeffrey himself. But when the timing sheets rolled in, they learned quick enough.
Jeffrey, unbelievable qualifying.
That should be good.
With Devin Tomac in second place. Laps on the 208. What is it about this track that has helped you?
You know, it's a complete new event, so I'm not used to anything.
Watch
so
one.
everything's, like new to me and a surprise, so it would be good.
Let's go for that Radiant Slash.
It would be beautiful to get away. But,
I should not use
let's do
Radiant
our best.
Slash.
Let's see where we come out.
Well, congratulations, Jeffrey Hurlings, with the fastest lap time in the 450 class.
You would have some time to learn the tracks. They're used to having a lot more practice sessions in the way the GP format works in Europe. You did learn. Look at the improvement. He gained 1.2 seconds between the 2 sessions.
Luna's carrying.
Man. Oh yeah, there are hills and jumps here in the relatively flat state of Indiana. It's the final round of the 2017 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing, the Christie Jubiler Chevrolet Ironman National. We've got 3 riders, Baggett, Muscan, and Tomac battling for a title. Tomac's basically got to get a pair of 10s today, and the championship will be his. There he is at number 3. There's Muscan and Baggett to his left. Then you have Jeffrey Hurlings, 3-time world champion in the MX2 250 class.
Let's
Second
go
in the World
fast
Motocross
travel.
rankings this year in the 450 division. He's going to come over to play the spoiler today. He was fastest in both
The
qualifying
entrance.
sessions. How will he do as he lines up? Revs are up and the gate is down. Tomac looking for the hole shot here. He pushes Baggett wide, and Tomac's got it exactly where he wants it.
Eli had evidently decided that offense would be the best defense, so he came out on the
counterattack.
attack, ripping a commanding hole shot and attempting to run away with it early. But Hurlings had something else in mind. This
Do I have a
delighted American
counterattack?
fans and
No
sent
way.
shockwaves throughout the entire motocross industry, as after starting in 4th
Counterattack,
place,
counterattack.
Jeffrey Hurlings led his
Yeah, I do.
first ever AMA race,
Nice.
and it took him all of about 3 corners to get there. Tomac clearly wasn't done though. You see, there was more than just a championship on the line for him here. This crossed over into the realms of national pride, and I've yet to even mention ego.
I still can't believe it. There's a lot more sports out there that they're entering one of the best times, and we're not seeing it, or I'm not looking at it. Because most things when I see sports, the best rivals, rivalries are ending, and some are starting up again, which is cool. I get a chance to see them. Of course that guy dodges.
this was unbelievable to watch. We were still grieving from the championship that should have been, and he was doing it again.
But worse than that, Tomac's flank's a little bit bent up. Clutch lever appears to be down. He's trying to push that back.
I did it!
And he
How was that a
damaged the
stun?
bike too.
Let us stay.
My God. Weirdly though, Hurlings wasn't out of the woods yet either, because Muscan behind him got in a front row seat to Tomac's crash, and having recently witnessed his teammate and mentor, Ryan Dungey, steal a championship from Eli under similar circumstances to this, he smelled blood.
No doubt that he is pushing the pace right now. Desperate to get this moto win. He did see Tomac crash earlier. Probably has no idea what position Tomac is in. But he's got to think maybe his title hopes are still alive.
Oh, he is trying. And Hurlings is pushing just equally as hard. Great to watch.
Oh, Marvin
Just
trying
enough.
to get him around the outside. Now come into this corner. Look at the fans. They're going crazy. This is the battle everybody wanted to see. How would Hurlings stack up? Quite well so far, but Marvin's trying to make it tough on him.
Marvin was riding out of his skin. In hindsight, I think this is some of the best he ever did. But when Hurlings increased the pace, he was on the ragged edge.
Whoa, Marvin! Muscat tries to go back. Whoa! How did he make it through that corner? 1 foot basically through that thing.
Almost 2 seconds quicker than the field. Oh! Marvin stalled it. You see him push the front button down while he was still sort of rolling.
Hurlings got it to 1.8 seconds now, so has a little bit of a gap to work with.
It was a valiant effort, but once Hurlings had broken the charge, he started pulling the gap out further and further and
Ooh,
further.
Ultra just a reward.
To the American fans in attendance, it must have seemed like this guy was come over from another
No way
planet.
it's jumping.
I doubt
It's
half
getting
of them
over
had
it.
even heard his name before today. But as they watched him wiping the floor with their entire competition, whilst their home country hero, Eli Tomac, circulated woefully in no man's land,
Oh
they
shoot,
weren't
I
like
almost
to
messed
forget
up.
it anytime soon.
No, it goes on.
Jeffrey Hurlings does it. He wins his first ever moto and does it in style. He briefly had a challenge from this man, Eli Tomac, who went for it and paid the price. He crashed. His title rivals finished second and third in this moto. That is going to tip the balance. Tomac will not be able to clinch the championship here at the end of Moto 1. It's going to go down to the last race of the season. Let's send it to Georgia. She's already got our winner.
First ever professional race, Jeffrey, in the United States, and you took the win. Now that you've done it, what's your thoughts on all the talk that's between the European and the American riders?
I
How
won.
do you feel?
I mean, I had the balls to come out here and come to the American-owned soil. So not many did that in Europe. And first moto win. So hope to have a good second moto and finish off a good weekend. And very happy to be here.
What? How am I going to get up this?
I was pretty fired up. I was a hothead. Like it wasn't a good intermission, if you want to call it that. I mean, I calmed down.
There
a
we
little bit
go.
before, because I knew I would have to really blow it to blow it, but they still had a chance to win. And I was like, you knucklehead, why did you make that mistake in the first one?
It wasn't just Tomac that was pissed either. The American fans had been thoroughly humiliated on their own soil, and if debate had been unfriendly before, it was positively
Oh,
diabolical
boy.
now. But it didn't begin and end with just a few inconsequential diehards online.
How far do I have to go?
That was Eli Tomac's rider intro. All I do is win. Very cool. And that was Hurling's one. They really dropped a he needs some milk meme on him before the race.
I'm clutching my butt. This is intense.
So, if even the event's sound guys were letting their malcontent towards this pesky Euro and his blinding speed show, you've got to wonder whether the crowd was booing him on the way to the line or anything like that. If something had gotten under his skin though, he certainly was not letting it show.
This is it. Eli Tomac's chance to be crowned 450 champion. He just has to score points in this moto. He's got to break the motorcycle, get to the finish line. If he does that, the championship is his no matter what Musquin and Baggett do. But don't forget about Jeffrey Hurlings, your first moto winner. Revs are up. The game's down for the last time this year. Hurlings a bad start. He got squeezed off. And it looks like Baggett's going to have the motorsport.com whole shot.
The Patriots got their wish this time around. Tomac and
What?
Webb
Where am I
pinched
supposed to
Hurlings
go?
up the start straight, and now he was buried. But things were about to get a lot worse. No. Quick history lesson. If you want to start a moto in 40th place, and your name's not James Bubba Stewart in 2003, then you simply can't hope to win anymore. Back when those sorts of comebacks were possible, the field wasn't nearly as stacked as it is today. Backmarkers were at a much larger mechanical disadvantage because they were just riding standard production bikes. And whilst the same remains true to this day,
Oh, that's how I get
production
there.
bikes aren't worlds apart from the factory ones like they used to be. So you lose a lot more time coming through the field. Not to mention, people just didn't take it as seriously back then. It was a different time, with a different attitude, and James figured out how to exploit it. He came through doing things nobody had even seen before. To have that same kind of edge in today's day and age of personal trainers, dietitians, mental coaches and chiropractors isn't possible. But I mean, what was he gonna do? Give up? No fucking way.
I did it.
It looks like he may have just had a crash with maybe the number 40 of Frederick Doran. He just rejoined the race, and he's second to last right now. So we're going to see how he's going to come through the pack.
Wow, okay, well these guys are doing exactly what they need to do. Baggett and Musquin need to score max points in this moto and hope that Tomac finishes way back. There comes Seeley. There comes the RCH Suzuki man. There come Webb, the two JGR Suzuki riders. They're still waiting. Wow, he is way back. 12th place right now.
If Tomac was way back though, it was nothing compared to Hurlings. Hardly any footage of him coming through the field exists, however, because the broadcast teams seem to be avoiding him at this point. But just look at how far back he is on lap 3 here, already 7 minutes into the race.
Oh, it's still not over. I fell. It's not worth it. It's not worth it anymore.
By the 10-minute mark, Hurlings had already caught back up to Tomac. Not that we got to see any of it.
I wasted 10 minutes.
Hurlings is coming. We're going to be right behind Tomac.
I kind of expect Hurlings to pass Tomac and then start moving on. He has a look over scrubs and takes a tear off.
Interesting. Okay.
Little intimidation right there.
As much as the editors might have tried, you can't avoid someone who's just passed 3/4 of the field forever. And whilst that was one hell of a statement by Hurlings, I doubt Tomac really cared. This position was good enough for the championship. He was just bringing it home. So, naturally, we continued watching him, while Jeffrey Hurlings went on to pass Christian Craig, Weston Pike, Justin Barsha, and Cooper Webb within 3 minutes.
That's it? This guy just had a
was on
skirt?
mission.
Here is Hurlings. He's trying to get around Bogle. This would now be for 4th.
Oh, he looks good through there. And this is where he got Tomac just a couple laps ago. He now scrubs it. He's got the inside.
We are not even halfway through this moto. How far through can he climb? And by the way, he's only about 15 seconds behind your leader, Marvin Musquin. Can he still make a run for the win today?
Yeah, very impressive.
After another off-screen pass on Cole Seeley,
I thought they were
it clawed his way
NPCs.
into the podium positions. But by the time he got there, Marvin had already built an insurmountable lead.
Hurlings a little bit quicker than Baggett and Musquin right now, about 1 second a lap faster. But they've got a pretty good gap over Hurlings, so that 1 second a lap that Hurlings is making up, that won't be enough to challenge those two.
Oh, she absorbed it.
It was a frustrating thing. And no less for Eli Tomac, who was having by far and away his worst day of the entire season. On what should have been the best, he was about to wrap
they're
up
weak
his
against light.
maiden 450 class title. But evidently, he'd learned from Moto 1 and just
Holy
wasn't going to rise to the bait. Speaking of bait,
I couldn't jump.
Yeah, he is slowly. What do you mean slowly? That last lap on the end. Last time around, Hurling's been up 1 second. To the next lap, Hurling's been up good spot.
Yeah, the way he's just chunked out of that lead.
Let's see if Hurlings can do it. Can he catch Baggett?
I'm going to say yes, because I'm watching right now. He's going so strong, and his corner speed is
Give me back my
He is
character.
probably a mile or two an hour quicker through every corner than everyone else.
Tremendous exit speed out of these corners, and he has caught Baggett in a hurry. We don't even need to stop watch anymore. The gap is basically done. He is ready to challenge Baggett and take second. What a charge! First time he's ever raced in the series. A lot of people have to adjust to and get used to, and he just pulled the trigger.
That was just rude right there.
Hurlings was at one with the force by this point, and people started to wonder
Oh
if
no,
maybe he could
she
go all
also
the way.
does that.
I mean, why not? He defied the impossible at every turn so far. The problem was, Marvin was still quite a ways up the track, and he only had 2 laps left now, so he decided to deploy an old Jedi mind trick called pressure. And it worked.
Musquin, your leader is down. Musquin is down. Now how much of a lead? Hurling just passed him. Yes, Hurling is in the lead from essentially last. That is the overall. And now there, by the way, is no chance for Tomac to lose the championship.
I lost.
Musquin had to win the moto. I cannot believe this. Hurlings is now looking at a 1-1.
Alright, so I might have been lying about the whole Jedi thing a bit. Hurlings did just get lucky there. But as the greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael used to say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And Hurlings had certainly been working hard. In fact, if he'd have backed off for even one of those laps, he simply would not have been in a position to capitalize on Marvin's mistake.
Jeffrey Hurlings has conquered Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. He goes 1-1 at the Ironman National. And Marvin Musquin has come up short. He needed the moto win. He had it. He threw it away. And with that second place finish, it's over. He's not going to be able to score enough no matter what Tomac does.
Trying to find a good place to actually grind out.
Lucas Oil Pro Motocross 450 class champion.
You can tell it's like a relief for him.
So, Tomac got his championship, but Hurlings won the day, binding their 2 fates in a sort of marred celebration. Yes, Eli had finally silenced the doubters and closed on his first Premier Class title, but Jeffrey's crushing victory at the first time of asking sort of undermined the whole achievement. And that's not even to mention what happened in Moto 1. Adversely though, Hurlings, who'd pulled off an incredible feat with the eyes of the entire motocross industry upon him, had to yell his podium speech just to be heard over the top of the American fans screaming for Tomac off inside shot the whole way through.
You know, I was fastest all day. I was fast in each practice, first moto, also second moto. Man, I was so pissed at myself when I crashed with the start and I had to start that last second moto. I was like, no way. I had
Defense.
it. So I just kept charging and fighting my way back all the way to first. You know, I was a bit lucky from Marvin having a small crash, but doesn't matter. I had a 1-1 and I showed I was the fastest guy on track, 100%.
It was a weird moment. Imagine putting in the most impressive performance any of the thousands of people around you have ever seen, just to have them cheer the guy you completely smoked and ignore you. But I mean, this is Jeffrey Hurlings we're talking about. Sooner or later, he was always going to have his say.
The first 2 laps, I couldn't make all the jumps. Cause,
Whoa, that's
I mean,
insane.
Don't want
Berserker
to be
slash.
disrespectful, but between place 25 and 40, not all the guys make those big jumps, and you know, I didn't want to jump in somebody's neck. So, you know, you lose so much ground and so much time. So by the time I got up to 20, you know, I was like, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds down, and I still had to pass all those guys. In Europe, for example, if you crash like I did now, second motor at the start, you're almost unable to come from last to first. I mean, the tracks are so good here. You have so many lines. You can just literally pass anywhere. And That's what I really like about America, and actually about this track and probably all the outdoors track, that they have so many lines, and yeah, that's so good organized.
That's funny because we come to the press conference every week and these guys tell us it's one line.
Then they should not go race Motocross World Championship.
Now, Hurlings might have just been memeing on his competition a bit there at the provocation of that reporter's loaded statement, but the fact was, he'd thrown Jeffrey a soft ball. Whether this guy willed it or not, Hurlings had earned his respect. And he was far from the only one.
Well, I said if Hurlings went 1-1, I was going to smash my laptop because I didn't want to stay off of it, and I have yet to smash my laptop. But that could be coming if I keep getting some tweets.
It was unbelievable. Not even just winning the motos and coming from last to first.
Yep.
When was the last time you were watching the last couple minutes of practice and someone was 4 seconds faster?
Well, Stu, but yeah. Yep.
I think everybody at the track started trying to come up with parallels for this, and when you're down to Stu on a 125 days,
yep.
Damn it all, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's about as dominant as you can get.
Annoyingly though, there was a caveat.
After that first moto excitement and the little crash, I couldn't do that again. So, whatever that second moto was it 6th or something, 5th? I don't know what it was, but got it done.
And this wasn't just an excuse either. Beyond the first lap of Moto 1, Tomac had clearly backed the pace down, which is a technicality you can bet your bottom dollar the American fans were going to cling to like their lives depended upon it. Hurlings knew as much.
Yeah, it cost him some places and some points, so second moto he did a bit easier, but...
And this left not only American fans feeling frustrated, but also the European ones, who'd long since felt that Hurlings was the fastest rider in the world and wanted irrefutable evidence. Not to mention us neutrals, who felt robbed of what was shaping up to be the greatest clash of two titans in our sport.
Man, I forgot.
Since Ricky Carmichael
should
split up with Stefan Everts. Fortunately, though,
doubled up
they were
Luna's
scheduled for
weapon,
a rematch,
so she can get
and
one stain, one random
too.
stain.
FIM World Championship Motocross Racing is back in the USA. September 2nd and 3rd, the world's greatest motocross riders take over Jacksonville, Florida. U.S. riders like Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Josh Grant will defend our national honor as the gate drops on the Monster Energy MXGP at WW Motocross Park. Watch 40 pro motocross riders battle for international bragging rights. Get your tickets for the Monster Energy MXGP at MXGPUSA.com.
That's right. Remember how I said Hurling's next round was in the US? Well, Tomac had entered himself in it too, and this was quickly becoming a weird sort of last chance saloon for American motocross pride.
The Euro guy got America today, okay? He got us.
You used us. You should never have done that.
Canadian.
Now, just wait. Just look at the YouTube comments. Scroll down right now.
Here's the point.
Okay.
Next week, he's got the title. It's no pressure. Let's go with Jacksonville WW Ranch. What I'm saying is, I think this is going to be epic. I think this is going to be great. Hurlings likes the sand. Little sandy. This guy likes the sand. I'm legitimately looking forward to a unpressured Eli Tomac.
Let's see what combustion does.
I'm ready, yeah.
And if he was ready, you already know this guy was too. Just look at him dunk on Muscan for not entering.
Yeah, it's time for a break. You know, right now, September is the only time I can have a talk.
He's just scared I'm going to pass him again.
Throw in an 8-time world champion with a 100-point lead, and we basically had the three fastest riders on the planet, each with as near as nothing to lose, about to go head-to-head on US soil.
Oh, she died again.
I'm interested now to see how these guys respond. They took a beat down from this guy. One guy who's respond. I mean, he basically had nothing for Hurling yesterday, and Hurling pulling chair off looking over at him as he blows by him.
Yeah.
Next weekend he'll be on the stage. Yeah, you guys have a little rematch. That should be fun.
Rematch 1-0 now, but hope we get 2-0 instead of 1-1.
However, that's a story for another day. This has been the tale of a time an unusual storm gathered. One we might never see the likes of again. Where Europe's top
Radiant
guy
Slash
in late season form ventured over into enemy territory and faced off against America's best, also in late season form. Not only did he beat them, but realistically, he he made them look a bit silly, putting in one of the most impressive rides I've ever seen, and going from last to first, well beyond the period of time in which I thought that was even possible.
I've heard so much about setup. This guy got on a bike with a different frame. A different frame. So, a good guy.
If you're a more casual motocross
No, I don't
fan,
have electricity. Never mind, I
wouldn't be
do.
surprised to learn you never even knew this happened. You see, Americans don't bring it up. Journalists, reporters, commentators. When the topic's history's great rides, they talk about Carmichael, Stewart, Villopoto, Dungey, Tomac. But where this event's concerned, it's like they all developed amnesia after the dust settled. As if the first rule of Jeffrey Hurlings is you don't talk about Jeffrey Hurlings or something. And I mean, I get it, but I'm promotion, and we don't take sides in this. So therefore, I want it remembered that Jeffrey Hurling's performance at the 2017 Ironman National was without a doubt one of history's great rides. And that should never, ever be forgotten.
Ooh, it's already over? And there's one more.
Jeez, oh man.
If he goes 1-1, I'm smashing my computer because I can't deal with these people.
Tomac trying to challenge Hurlings to the lead, and that's exactly what he didn't want to have happen. He challenged Hurlings, he crashed, and the two riders now beat him in this moto, gotten by.
It was a dark day in American motocross.
The type of things fans throw out there, like, what if Tomac tries to run with him and crashes? That actually happened. It actually happened. I couldn't believe I was seeing it as he was going down. I'm like, he went for it.
No longer
and it
gain
actually
AP
cost
on
him.
parry.
And I told
1
myself
AP
going in
on
there,
getting
that
hit.
situation could
I
easily
got
happen,
that.
And it did, and that's why I was so frustrated after the first moto. If Jeffrey went out front, I tried to chase him, I crashed.
Death's Door.
Not only had European rider Jeffrey Hurlings come over and won his first ever AMA race, but he'd done it in the coldest way imaginable. First tempting championship leader Eli Tomac into riding above his head, all but costing him his second major title in 6 months. But then in Moto 2, well...
Hey Georgia, what do you got on Hurlings?
It looks like he
10-10. I need to get rid of one.
Frederick Doran. He just rejoined the race, and he's second to last right now. So we're going to see how he's going to come through the pack.
Man, he is coming.
Yeah, he is slowly.
What do you mean slowly? That last lap was a little bit different.
Last time around, Hurlings made up 1 second. The next lap, Hurlings made up 4. And by the way,
Lifesteal. I got lifesteal and I got a critical burn. So if I get lifesteal on her,
still make a run for the win today.
Hurlings just went by.
Did Hurlings just pass it? Yes, Hurlings is in the lead from essentially last. I cannot believe this. Hurlings is now looking at a 1-1.
It was a wake-up call
Get
from
dodge
hell
out
to
of
the
the way.
Americans, most of whom thought their series to be on par with the World Championship before this. Yet on an unfamiliar bike, at an unfamiliar track, against unfamiliar opponents in an unfamiliar series, Hurlings came from 40th
aim,
to first.
get rid of that,
Something
and
nobody'd done since James Bubba Stewart on a 125 in the early 2000s. But they still had
just one more
morsel of hope to cling to.
The Euro guy got us. Got America today, okay?
Stop it.
You got America.
You used us. You should never have done
I'm
that.
Canadian.
Now,
I'm gonna
just
go
wait. Just
camp.
look at the YouTube
Listen,
comments. Scroll down right now.
Here's the point.
Okay.
Next week, he's got the title. It's no pressure. Let's go at Jacksonville WWE Ranch. What I'm saying is, I think this is going to be epic. I think this is going to be great. Hurlings likes the sand. It's a little sandy. This guy likes the sand. I'm legitimately looking forward to a unpressured Eli Tomac next week. Are you?
I'm ready. Yeah.
So what the hell is he talking about?
It's been 10 years. Goldberg needs to get over it.
Well, this. The looming MXGP of the United
Spend
States.
some time with Moko.
Hurling's 17th round
He
And
got
the
stronger
whole
while I
reason he
spent
was over
2
here in
years
the
hiding in
first
the mountains. Mountains for
Tomac, along with a number of other American riders, had entered themselves as exhibitionists. And unburdened by title responsibilities this time around, the pride of
Oh no,
global
I'm gonna have to do this
superpower
with
number
everybody.
one rest on the shoulders
Yeah,
of Eli
friendship
Tomac,
increased by 1.
who they were praying would clap
Can't
back
go
at
that
the
far.
European riders, threatening to deliver a death blow to the reputation of American motocross. Oh, and did I mention 8-time world motocross champion and current points leader over Jeffrey Hurlings
I can spend
by
time with this
101,
Noko.
Antonio Caroli was going to be there? Yeah. Motocross, cross country, enduro, and much more. Join me for the ride of a
I
lifetime.
wish there's a skip button.
Eli cut his championship celebration short and got back to the grindstone.
Holy snap, I have. You can
see,
actually
people
spend time
kept
with these
crapping on
guys.
about how the pressure was off. You've got the title now. But that just wasn't true. Last weekend, he merely had to pick up a couple of points. Tense, sure. But this time, he was expected to go toe-to-toe with quite possibly the fastest rider that had ever lived. Or cement national embarrassment. If you don't seriously think he was feeling the weight of that situation, you're kidding yourself.
Mostly poetic insults to you.
In the wake of an historic victory, however, well, Jeffrey Hurlings wasn't exactly surfing a wave of careless bliss either, because it was summertime, and the race was to take place in Florida.
We saw it in Ottaviano where it was really scorching hot. And Jeffrey actually passed out as he came over the line after the second race. Couldn't make the podium, couldn't make the press conference, and he was in a bad way.
Okay, fine.
It was no mistake that he picked to stay with legendary trainer Alden Baker, because situated just 2 hours south of the racetrack,
level 2 with
Baker's factory
Melly.
would serve perfectly. He wasn't there to practice riding, you see. He was there to practice heat.
Luna's turn, hooray. I get the feeling there's going to be a cutscene. Nope,
And as
there
the
isn't.
two riders fought a phantom duel with their weaknesses from opposite ends of the country, a circus mobilized. Throughout the week, millions of dollars worth of factory teams, broadcasting equipment and lap scoring.
That's it? I didn't get to do
descended
anything
upon
with Luna.
WW Ranch. And pretty soon, it was starting to look a lot like we had a Grand Prix on our hands.
You guys.
We were to open an umbrella here, I would have already been hoisted.
That's it? I don't get
atop
to-
Harry's, which they did sandbag. Everybody here
With Saline, I don't get to
preparing for
get
what's
to friendship
come
level
here
2.
around high tide, 9:30. Continuing from St. Johns County back up to Duval. Let's go to Jacksonville Beach now.
Overnight monsoons rendered Jacksonville unseasonably cold. But that wasn't the only means by which the gods seemed to be shining down upon Hurlings. Usually light sand and joyous to ride, WW Ranch had grown positively fearsome.
I got more healing tins. I can't
Heavy
level
sand
level
combined
this
with
thing
big
up.
jumps is quite possibly the sketchiest recipe you can face in motocross.
Oh, they take different
Add a handful of
It
American
takes
riders to the
replenishing
mix
chroma
who never
crystals.
practice in this sort of condition because it doesn't appear on their calendar. And it was only a matter of time before someone got bit.
Now, the big news here is that moments before the end of the free practice session, Cooper Webb fell.
Not looking good, dude. Got some ice on the wrist.
Yeah, not so good. They landed in some ruts, front end stuck, and went flying, and staying broken scaphoid, but we're headed to the hospital to see what the damage is.
Managing to survive the gauntlet at least, Tomac was nevertheless 4 seconds off the pace. And to be honest, I'm surprised it wasn't more.
Nothing. Couldn't upgrade a weapon.
Whereas the American riders mightn't have ever seen this bottomless, power-sapping,
He's
front-wheel
gay.
grabbing sand before. Jeffrey Hurlings, hailing from the Netherlands, well, he was practically weaned in it.
Man, those video clips are so old.
All in all then, I think it's fair to assume that American morale
Red Bull
wasn't exactly soaring going into this one.
Can't believe Red Bull was
It was
that
feeling a lot
long.
like Iron
I mean,
Man
that
version
old.
2.
That has been the main talking point of all you keyboard warriors out there and all the websites, news pages and everything over the last week or so. The Hurlings Tomac battle last week, and again, are we going to get it this weekend? But I think there'll be a few more challengers. You know, we've got Tony Cairoli maybe out to prove a point, as he is the current MXGP World Championship leader, but with a lot to lose in some respects, but maybe not happy with all the talk being about his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings coming into this USGP.
Oh, why you here, bastard?
Tomac, the pressure is off now. He's won his championship, wants to come here and do well. He certainly has nothing to lose. Jeffrey Hurlings doesn't. Tim Geiser with a point to prove. So too Roman Fevre. So this one's going to be a good one, but this is only the qualifying race today. 20 minutes plus 2 laps, round 17 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. The Monster Energy MXGP of the US here at WW Motocross Park, Jacksonville, Florida, is about to get underway. Charging down into turn 1. Tomac doesn't get a good jump. Cairoli does, but so too does Roman Fevre. Fevre slides his way up the inside on the
Hold on.
No problem. Pellerin's are weak. I could have done that blindfolded.
No.
Breathing takes time. How about a little verso magic to lighten the mood? You mean the one that hurts like hell? Yes, I mean the one that hurts like hell. All right, I'll do it. Hi.
Not now, please. I'm working.
Hi.
Oh, Verso, there you are. How did... Oh, fuck. Oh my... wow!
What is that?
Hi. I'm a pair of legs that can talk.
Verso?
We're both Verso.
You are so ridiculous.
Wait, how can your legs talk?
Ah, yes, I'm quite proud of that. Took a lot of training.
Does it? Does it hurt?
No, it doesn't.
Did you cut yourself in half? Did Monoko cut you in half?
Do you heal from the top or the bottom? Or do you have to bring the halves together? Hey, can you control the process?
So, if you're cut in half, does that mean you can be in 2 places at once? Can you go scouting with Monoko with your lower body, while your upper body stays here and talks to us?
Well, yeah, you see, I can go hunt Nevrons with my top half, while my bottom remains here cooking meals. Back in the days, that's what we used to do.
Can I... Are you...
Yeah, my hair is...
All that pain just to put a smile on their faces. Verso, aren't you getting too attached?
Ooh, that's it. Alright, time to go to sleep. I've only leveled up once, and that's the biggest gripe I have. Can't believe it. In 55 minutes, I only did about one level up.
Reunited with his normal engine again, Hurling's got off to a great start and quickly forced his way into the lead.
Where is Tomac in around about 15th place at the moment on our split times?
Tomac, however, was buried. And in case the home crowd didn't already have enough to dread, the realization that Europe had another guy just as fast.
Kai Rowley dives at the inside and shows his teammate a little bit of attitude there and a lot of rear wheel.
Can't have been an altogether pleasant one to arrive at. Antonio Caroli hails from the small Italian island of Sicily, where the mob was born, and some have whispered, if you accidentally take him out, you might just want to throw the next result, or risk swimming with the fishes. But all that aside, Italian riders aren't exactly known for their sand prowess, and recognising the chink in his armour early, Caroli had spent large parts of his career based out of Lommel, Belgium, the world's most notorious sand track, where, through sheer grit and determination, he'd wrought it into a strong suit.
Kai Rowley's definitely up for this one this weekend, no doubt about it.
Just more Lumina. Oh yeah, I forgot. Lifesteal. I think everybody has it now.
The KTM boys quickly checked out, and in their wake, yellow flags flew as more riders succumbed to the brutal conditions.
The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider is in a lot of pain there. Looks pretty difficult out there at the moment.
Struggling with it as much as anyone was Eli Tomac.
Tomac was 16th on the opening lap. He's only picked off 4 riders in his qualifying race. Not sure if he's going to be scratching his head about that situation or...
Even I was scratching my head at this point.
Just need one
With
more
the
Lumina.
Lifted, Eli was supposed to be a changed man, but if anything, he was going even slower than last weekend. Still, it could be worse. Everyone here hates Justin Barcia because all he really does is ride about crashing into the people you actually like.
It's not the brightest light in the room, I have to say, is.
For now though, he was America's lead rider. So what better way to establish some hatred this side of the pond than by jumping on Gautier Paulin's head under caution and in quintessential Barcia fashion, blaming him for it. Literally miles up the track by this point.
Jeffrey Hurlings continues to dog Tony Cairoli, and it's 1.7 now the gap between first and second. So Cairoli's lead is being tapped into by Jeffrey Hurlings.
You got the impression he had more in the tank too.
What's up with the carousel?
Between uncorking quads, experimenting with different lines, and falling back only to light the timing screens purple again, Jeffrey clearly had an edge.
Hurlings looking just a little bit more efficient in these sticky conditions.
Oh, this game is really bad at grinding.
Oh, Hurlings down the inside, coming through turn 1, and they're split by a back marker here. It's going to be very brave. He's going to go one way, and Hurlings was lucky just to be able to get across there. Just got on the gas, really got those Pirellis dug in deep.
They don't call him the Sandman for no reason. And the difference isn't hard to spot.
The danger.
These guys back here, well, they were fighting against the track, whereas Caroli was dancing across the
Frozen
top
heart.
of it. But it's one thing to have mastered the sand late in life, and another entirely to have grown up in the stuff. Jeffrey Hurlings wasn't fighting or dancing. He was surfing.
There is Eli Tomac. He's still in 12th place behind the 243 of Tim Geiser. His fastest lap has been a 2:08.6.
Let's go.
And that is 4 seconds down on Jeffrey Hurlings. A 2:04 last time around for him. This is poetry in motion here.
Shot it like a real answer. Shorty saw my wallet, now she think I answer. Whoa, telling me she wanted me to hammer. Trying to get saved, baby, I am not the answer. No, I can never trick. My bitch with a kiss on my lip. I ain't got a plan for the lip. I'm a man with a gift, and I'm doing my shit like.
And it's a qualifying race win here in the USA. Cairoli 20 seconds down at the end. Home at 12. Jeffrey Hurlings.
Oh no, these guys are really strong.
Qualifying race.
Funny how long a week is in motocross. That's all it has taken for Jeffrey to go from lucky foreigner to 50-1 favourite. Whereas Tomac, the majority A-side only 7 days ago, was now a hope.
Never mind,
against
this is
hope
too
underdog.
dangerous.
And that hope dwindling with every decimation Hurlings dealt him.
You look confident out there, you look relaxed. Just tell us, perfect conditions for you in the SIG.
I didn't do anything what I had to get a good start, was second or third, and then managed my way to work to the front, so very happy and hopefully the same thing tomorrow.
But he was
Oh snap,
unusually
1,000.
tired. The Florida sun might well have hidden away, you see. But humidity
Ready to evade.
is the real killer. And to the Patriots who were really paying attention,
Luna's
this
the only
fatigue
one that's dealing
was
with
the
damage.
first in a string of faint silver linings from which they could draw hope. The second
Counterattack.
was MXGP's 2-day format. Normally, Kawasaki would have about an hour to fix Eli's bike setup, whereas here, they had 24. So, as their less Eli supporters
Harry.
took this whole sorry ordeal away at the Waka Flocka Flame concert, Eli's team...
How many more turns do they actually have?
Backed into a corner, they decided to trade notes with their European counterpart team and made sweeping changes. Fingers crossed all the while that they were headed in the right direction and not just making things even worse.
I gotta heal. Of course I do.
Tomac was back in the paddock at the crack of dawn, helping his team, who presumably hadn't slept, test the fruits of their labour. And whilst they ran rudimentary starts out behind the truck, Mother Nature threw them a bone.
Okay, we're getting health back slowly.
Finally, revealing the infamous Floridian sun, which immediately set to baking the racing surface. And before long, the mouths of alcohol-poisoned American fans weren't the only dry things at WW Ranch. The track had been transformed.
Ready to evade.
And this was a huge deal for Eli. Because
Oh,
light
no.
sand,
I'm ready.
he can do. In fact, Millville and Southwood are probably his two strongest tracks on the AMA calendar.
I'll do it.
But if the bike still wasn't right, these crumbs of hope
Oh boy, that one was close.
would only get him so far.
I guess that's a big talking point here, isn't it? Eli Tomac only coming home as well. Not really on fire yesterday, was he? But looking at the warm-up times this morning, Tomac fans will be pleased to know that that third place is significantly closer to the likes of Hurlings on the high level.
This morning he looked aggressive. It's the first lap I've seen that Eli looked aggressive on himself. So he's got the weight of the country.
Oh, so close to that one's dead.
Hurlings will be much better. I think the conditions hardening will help him a lot. It's going to be much closer to what Jackson's used to. I just don't know if that level is going to be good enough to beat Jeffrey Hurlings.
Yes, he might well have made remarkable gains overnight, but Eli knew the general consensus.
Okay, that one's dead.
Delusional diehards still hang on to the notion
No,
that
not
he
yet.
had anything to offer Hurlings. And then the guy rocked up to the line with an Enduro fuel tank, because Red Bull KTM had calculated that he would have run the bike out of fuel yesterday if the moto had been a 4-minute one, which is like the motocross equivalent of Mike Tyson's death stare. The type of thing to defeat an opponent before the fight even begins. And Tomac hardly needed any more reason to doubt.
Hard to see anybody not named Antonio Ferroli or Jeffrey Hurlings winning a moto at this race.
Maybe those guys are thinking this is
Oh boy.
for the jugular. I'm a
One
little
more,
worried about that.
and then it's my turn.
So was that a strange position for you to be in?
Okay, one down. This time one is really down.
And it still wasn't fast enough.
Tomac 12 and minute and 10 down on Jeffrey Hurlings.
I don't know how near I am to some sort of breakdown. I just don't know how much more of this I can take.
I'm ready.
Thank goodness they have the same moves.
I'll do it. I'm ready.
Oh, it's just one-on-one now. What? I gotta get Ursa out.
Just when it seemed like they had him on the ropes, Tomac struck the first blow. Of course, we'll never know exactly what they did to his Kawasaki, but between that start,
No, I died.
external oil cooler,
Burster.
and flames now shooting from the exhaust, it was obviously running pretty hot. And with Caroli and Hurlings buried outside the top 10, this was every advantage the Freedomlanders could have asked for and more. Now just the small matter of keeping it that way for another 27 minutes, 36 seconds and 2
Verser, my
laps.
man.
Easier said than done.
Well, he's going to be keenly aware that Hurlings is back there as well. He probably doesn't know what position he's in, but he's going to try to get out of here now. This is going to be
We can
everything
take
he's got
all
in
the
first
turns
two
we
laps to try
need.
to make a gap. Let's go.
It'd have to be too, because the KTMs had locked horns. And they were slicing through the field like a hot knife.
Bring it on.
Whilst battling.
Tyrone marching down the inside of 4 laps.
Damn. At least we got one good one.
You see Tony making a move there. These guys have no patience.
need to heal someone else.
I won't lose again.
Oh.
Just Hurling is hunting down Rolling because he needs to pick points off him to get back to the Crown World Champion for a ninth time, and that deep left-hander there. Tomac almost getting caught out there. Just goes to show how easy it is to make a mistake.
Enamored by the spectacle, you tend to forget
Oh, that
one
was rough.
tiny misstep could spell disaster for any of these riders. Misreading grip levels, a burn giving way, a suspension breakdowning unexpectedly. A knife's edge is all that separates podiums from paramedics and motocross. Throw in some heat exhaustion to cloud your focus, and wow. 2015 world champion Roman Febvre lay unconscious beside the track. Arminus Jasikonis had already been stretchered off with a dislocated hip, and then Gautier Paulin.
Yes, we did it.
Fell of the rider's worst nightmare.
That took a long time.
That's
30.
a huge tabletop. He is very, very lucky. That was a huge crash.
But it's not like these guys
That
don't
was
know the
rough.
score.
I can't believe it.
They've picked a risky occupation.
Lovely.
Risks they choose to accept every time
Thank
they
God for
swing
that
a leg
Lumino
over their bike.
that I got.
It just comes with the territory. They're not here to make friends. They're not here to have fun. And they certainly aren't here to finish second. Every single one of them has felt this sport's keen sting 1,000 times over to get where they're at. So you'd best believe if their entrails are intact, they're gonna get back on the bike.
No, of course.
It is unbelievably difficult to ride with bent handlebars like that. But despite it, Gautier Paulin battled on to finish inside the top 20 and salvage a championship point, which is hardly unique. UFC fighters and rugby players are what typically come to mind when people think of badass athletes. But motocross riders are as tough as any of them.
Hurling looking to go around the outside of Tyrone. He makes the move on the inside and then walks across to take away the line from the Sicilian.
10 minutes in, Tim Geiser
Oh, I
and
keep
Max
forgetting about that
Marvel
one move.
were all that separated Eli Tomac from the Orange Armada.
He cannot afford to switch over here. We had 12 seconds over Jeffrey Hurlings. It'll be a testing time here in the next 20 minutes or so.
11,000. Holy snap, these guys.
Great to see the fight in from Tony Tyrone. Right down the inside. He gets on the back wheel.
I don't think it's worth it.
Gonna launch it over there. Yeah, beautifully done there from Hurling. He now has clear track, so this is where we're gonna see what Hurling and Tomac are made of.
Lightning. Strike.
Was the gap when Hurlings made his way into second, with Caroli shadowing his every move. But after all that had happened, not even Tomac's own countrymen thought it'd be enough.
For me as a fan, just to see Eli back giving these guys a fight, that's great.
And it's not difficult to understand why they harbored doubts, particularly in this moment, this eerie, mirrored image of the closing minutes at Ironman.
There's only one thing in mind now is try and close down that gap.
Nice healing.
Eli Tomac was riding flawlessly, but even still, Jeffrey Hurlings kept chipping away at his lead.
I did it wrong.
10th by 10th. And then, with just 2 minutes left on the clock, something astonishing happened.
You
Danger.
can see Tony's completely saved it for the second motor. He dropped down to 209 that last lap.
That's right. The butt of last weekend's utter annihilation.
At least I got some health back.
Prime Antonio Caroli, Europe's second most successful rider ever. But with nothing to lose and everything to gain, Jeffrey Hurlings kept his foot in a bit longer. Eventually, bringing the gap down under 10 seconds.
Good push this in the closing stages. I think it's going to run out of time.
And to general amazement, in the dying minutes, even he was forced to concede defeat.
Our return.
Take a bow as you cross the line for MXGP Race 1. That is a big win for Eli Tomac and a massive release for him as well.
With that, the tides of motocross swung
Switch
back in
stance.
favor of the
Burn.
Americans. But at what cost?
Oh my god, these guys keep healing.
First thing, helmet off. Be interesting to see his kind of condition when he goes down and speaks to Lisa Leyland in a couple of moments' time.
Few other sports in the world require their athletes to hold 95% of their maximum heart rate for a full 30 minutes. And even just gone 36 in 100-degree, 100% humidity weather. Hurlings and Caroli at least got a couple of laps respite there towards the end. But, presumably in fear of Jeffrey's reputation,
Oh great. Now they're healing.
Eli pushed right the way to the line.
There we see Eli, obviously very hot. Probably going to be the word of the hour here for the second moto, because it's only going to get hotter in the afternoon.
How am I going to kill these guys?
Lisa Leyland, let's hear what Eli Tomac has to say.
Congratulations, you're turning your weekend around. Just tell us, how tough was it out there?
That was tough. The humidity is by far the toughest condition right now. The track's getting really good character with the sand coming up, and we really needed that from our earlier runs and sessions there. I was struggling quite a bit, so
I'm ready.
We got it figured out now, and hopefully we.
Oh, this is so bad. What the hell?
They'd get 1 hour to recover, which the internet spent engaging in wholesome conversation as usual. And it's at this point that I'm going to have to issue an apology in advance. You see, some genius decided to invite Michael Alessi into the booth for Moto 2.
I'm ready.
And, rather predictably, he's nowhere near as good at commentating as he is
I'm ready.
kicking people.
Oh, come on.
Shining a laser light into their eyes on the start line. Pressing
This
kill
is never
switches
going to
pile
end.
up, or, of course, kamikazeing Brock Tickle. I've cut him out where possible, but he does
Ready to
like to
obey.
talk over the other commentator a lot, so I don't know, just try to push it to the back
Finally,
of your mind.
at least someone died.
Because history was unfolding. This would be the last dance of Jeffrey Hurlings, Eli Tomac, and Antonio Caroli, at least for the foreseeable future, with MXGP having announced that morning that negotiations for future Grand Prix of the United States had fallen through.
It seemed that he was having setup issues on the bike. Whatever they were, he surprised everybody. That was impressive to come back
I got
from
the advantage.
that kind of struggle that he had yesterday.
And for
We
once,
should kill these stupid.
the Americans were on the front foot, especially with question marks.
No, I
surrounding
hate these
Jeffrey's
guys.
Conditioning.
Said he's been riding more this week than he probably would at home. So doing anything he can to get himself used to the Florida heat.
But if anyone had just cause to win this moto, That was the Godfather.
Right now in this second row, he has
Wow.
the opportunity to win the championship, and all he has to do is put himself in front of Hurlings anywhere in the points this second moto.
Certainly sets up an awesome storyline.
Who will it be that grabs a box hole shot? Who will it be that wins the race too?
So much damage with these guys. Yeah, it's not worth it. I had to go find a better place.
The man in the background there, in green, number 3. Montrose Kawasaki, Eli Tomac, the winner from race 1. He is definitely wanting to get a move on here.
A reverse order of Moto 1, with the apparently invincible Xavier Paulin thrown into the mix. This was about to be one hell of a...
Somebody on the track. Wow, that's not allowed. Whoa, that is not allowed.
Yeah, it's not very often you get pitch invaders in this sport. Which speaks to the occasion, really. This was motocross caviar. Excitement ran rife. And just now, Caroli was running away with the race.
Wow, nicely done. Simultaneous scrubbing over the top of Montrose Mountain. Hurlings has the inside line.
He just used the momentum through that outside, and that was it. That's all she wrote.
Clearly, the
All right,
bullet had
here
marked target. And if Tomac was going to finish this job, it'd have to follow him through. The KTM boys were not hanging around.
But it looks like Tomac's coming up on Paul Lynn.
Yeah, he pre-jumped nicely over the top of the hill, but jumps long, which is the only option. When you pre-jump there, one for the momentum around the outside. To Eli Tomac last week when he was trying to wrap up his championship. Do you go chase down the win, or do you just hang back? And Cairoli has just come out all swinging at the moment.
The stark contrast between rookie and vet. The Godfather wouldn't crumble.
Tony Cairoli reacting to the threat of his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings. As it stands right now, Cairoli with the Grand Prix on 45.
Whoa, what's up with this guy?
Definitely making it difficult for number 3 of Tomac. Momentum around the outside, is he going to swing around and find his way past the Frenchman? The long way round is always going to be very difficult, but he's down the inside.
By the time Tomac had finally disposed of Paulin, the leaders were just starting to reach out of sight. But he now had clear track.
What the hell is that?
7 between Cairoli and Tomac. Last time around,
What?
Cairoli was a 2:04.5. Hurlings was the fastest lap of the race, 2:04.3. Tomac 2:05.6.
Okay,
So
Berser.
he just needs to find his stride here.
Just you and me. As the race wore on though, 4 things remained steadfast. Hurlings pressurized Caroli from behind. WW Ranch claimed more victims. Barsha continued being a twat. And Eli Tomac conceded more ground.
Just starting to fade.
I blocked it.
We put a lot more into it than we thought in race 1.
It's possible
Blocked
you
it.
have to conserve a little bit of energy at the end of that first motor. As much as you don't want to admit it, this heat is hard, man. And you're not going fast enough to go. He's playing his vehicle. He's doing 205, 206s, and the leaders are doing 203s.
Even
Oh, I missed. I blinked.
not Eli, just everyone's surprised reactions to him fading late on a hot summer's day. You see, early on in his career, he was somewhat known for it, often falling right off the pace, throwing his goggles and finishing well back. Yet here everybody was, pegging him to be this great force, on the simple basis he was American. Sure, James and Ricky did used to be outstanding in these conditions, but they were Floridian natives. Eli's from Colorado, where it snows. Jeffrey Hurlings, on the other hand, might well struggle a bit more than Caroli, but he's never had trouble like Tomac has. Anywhere. Whether it be the sweatbox that is Thailand, the stifling Arabian desert night, or a dusty Mexican afternoon, Hurlings has won in every type of heat. So why would Florida suddenly stump him?
Because
You
it's
can
just
see
too
Hurlings
hot.
now is catching up to Antonio. This is going to be a good race right now. Hurlings wants to win just as bad, if not more. So
I know Jeffrey. He would rather pass out over the finish line.
I'm telling you right now, these two riders are going to give it everything they
Absolutely.
have and more from now until the checker flag flies.
Yes. And that old Jedi mind trick Hurlings used on Muscan last weekend works best late Moto 2.
Muscan, your leader is down.
The blackout minutes, where even 8-time world motocross champions are prone to mental mistakes.
How come I kill them in one strike?
Piled the pressure on, harder than ever.
They're moving at consistently 3 to 4 seconds faster than all the other riders on the track.
That gap now 12.8 between Cairoli and Tomac. Cairoli tips over at the bottom of the hill. That berm just collapsed beneath the wheels of TC222 and the crazy fast end.
Hurlings wanted everything that Tony Cairoli couldn't afford to do.
This guy was something else. To force
We're at level
established
30.
champions into cracking like that.
Ooh, we got two
weekends
polished.
in a row. As a rookie, shouldn't be possible.
So Jeffrey Hurlings almost 11 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli. This race is his to lose now with just 2 laps to go. It's been a pretty convincing race 2 performance from Jeffrey Hurlings, hasn't it, this time around?
Hurlings is just riding on another level.
Put Cairoli under pressure. Cairoli obviously decided to, excuse my terminology, bite the bullet while he was trying to pull away from Hurlings, who wasn't going anywhere. He takes his 4th Grand Prix win of the season, his 2nd career victory in the USA, and he keeps the World Championship alive in MXGP with just 2 rounds to go. Tony Cairoli about to cross the line any moment now in 2nd place on his Red Bull KTM. He waits for that nighttime.
Kidding me.
Good solid performance here from Eli Tomac. He put on a masterclass in Moto number 1, but he had to play second fiddle to the 2 KTMs of Hurlings and Cairoli in this 2nd race. It was a tough day at the office all round for everybody this weekend. Your overall Grand Prix is going to be Hurlings, Tomac and Cairoli.
So there it was. An answer to the ever-present what if in global motocross. The planet's 3 fastest riders had just left everything they had out on track. And yet again, the bullet had come up holding all the aces.
Jeffrey Hurlings, congratulations. A moto win, you've got your overall GP victory, and you've kept that championship alive, at least for another weekend.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I got a good start. I was 5th, and I worked my way up to the front. So very pleased. You know, happy to have it done. It was so brutal, like so hot. I think it's like 95 with a 95% humidity. So it was a
95% humidity.
Yeah, it was good.
Even more impressive though was Eli's miraculous turnaround. To bounce back from that annihilation Hurlings had put him through at Ironman, and then all Saturday long here as well, to whole shot, lead every single moto and win the first moto, might well be the most unexpected thing I've ever seen in this sport.
To be honest, we were struggling yesterday, and at least found some speed in this morning's free practice, and was able to get that win. Felt fresh, felt good. Moto 2 came around, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised by those guys' pace early on. They were laying it down, and they got away from me. I got out of touch, and the track beat me up a little bit. So overall, good day. It was a tough fight.
Let's go.
And his result had single-handedly rescued the fast-drowning reputation of American motocross. Temporarily. In truth, I think it was quite possibly the worst thing that could have happened to it. Where at the end of each year, 40 countries send their 3 fastest riders to compete for the coveted Chamberlain Trophy.
Nope, it blocked
otherwise
wrong.
known as the Olympics of motocross. Being in that the United States industry is as big as all of Europe's combined, they've had a lot of success here. Including a 7-year win streak from 2005 through 2011.
Verso's 30.
And since then, the beliefs just kind of lingered on that they're the best, despite never winning it again. You see, there was always a perfectly good caveat. 2012 was a deep sand track. Europeans had the advantage. 13, just some unfortunate crashes. Bad starts in 2014, Eli Tomac out with injury come 2015, and then of course, the Lapper debacle of 16. A slew of misfortune was all it was. However, the Europeans saw things a bit differently.
Yeah, those guys are winning.
They had long since puzzled that the Americans had grown complacent and fallen from the sport's pinnacle. What they really needed was a reality check to set them back on the path to redemption, and Hurlings so nearly delivered that. But with Tomac sneaking a win out of the blue, then opting not to compete in that year's Motocross of Nations, acceptance was only further delayed, and it wouldn't be till the 2 riders met for a 3rd and final time before that came crashing down. But that's a story.
Yeah, we're in S
day.
rank.
This
I jumped!
has been the conclusion to something previously unheard of. A fortnight in which Europe's fastest rider raced a US national, and then the very next weekend, America's top guy did the same thing in reverse. The hype, unrivaled. Fan-based discourse,
Ready to strike.
never greater.
The Hurlings win in Ironman, having a USGP and coming out on top of that probably has put some gasoline in that fire.
It's been a pleasure reliving every single minute of it until it shared this ride down memory lane with millions of people, including
Did you see that video that's gone viral on YouTube regarding the documentary about your trip to Ironman in 2017? That was a cool video, wasn't it?
I don't know who made it, but he put a lot of work in there. He actually did a great job. I watched it and he really looked into it like in detail. So he did a good job, and it was a lot of fun watching it, and I had a lot of good comments about it. So yeah, I want to say thanks to the guy who made it. I don't even know how it is, but he did a good job.
Let's carve a path.
Yeah, that's been the cherry on top of the cake. As was this for him, another overall victory to cap off what had been a near perfect United States pilgrimage, confirming MXGP fans' long-standing suspicion that he was indeed the fastest rider on the planet.
I mean, the results speak, you know, when you go 1-1, then the other time you go 2-1. Man, it's been a hell of a stay, you know. I really enjoyed my time, man. I love the American tracks and I love the American fans, so I really appreciate
Yeah,
everybody.
you hear that? He
supported
likes
me
us.
and, had a good time.
And whilst many did choose to bury their heads in the sand about it, it wasn't as if no Americans could make out the writing on the wall.
Tony and Jeffrey Hurlings proved to be by far the better guys.
They're raising the game and the level of motocross, that's for sure.
You know, evidently I need to go to Europe and do some riding because this guy took us to school. So I'm going to get my pad and pen and take notes because he definitely served us justice today.
That's not to say they'd been disgraced though. No. Eli's stomp down in Moto 1 proved a stark reminder of exactly why their national championship is talked of in the same conversation as the World Championship. So, as the two riders embraced in some of the hardest earned mutual respect there ever was or will be, fans from both sides of the pond went home with something to smile about. Not only had America's golden boy defended the nation from brink of memehood, but he'd split a prime Antonio Caroli and Jeffrey Hurlings, two of the greatest ever. The Godfather had more than held his own and taken another huge step towards an historic 9th world title. But the bullet had shot them all down again. As any great history book will tell you, however, when titans clash, it comes in trilogy.
What learned
and
skill?
Upon this chapter, the ink was still wet.
What does that mean? Oh, it's still writing, okay. Oh well, that's enough for today.
I was pretty fired up. I was a hothead, like.
Oh no, I can't find it. Oh well. So all that time, I managed to get one level higher than I was before. I'm level 30. My goal was to get level 35 at the end of this 2-hour period, but I guess it didn't work out. It's very hard finding enemies. Seems like tomorrow I'm going to have to do more grinding. But I have gotten better at parrying. Gotta find more enemies. Whoa, look at that, a black hole. What is that? Cool. I hope it saves. Come on, is there any save? Alright, team's good. Duh.
Please survive.
Oh shoot. No fair. That's so many. Hold on, let's see if I can put... Can't believe it, I actually have to run all the way back. Checkpoint. Let's change someone that we don't use. There we go.
Ready to evade.
I can't keep up with that. That one was so fast. I hate when it says failed. Come on, I don't want to see it. Alright, this time I can do it.
I'll do it.
Oh my god, man. I don't think it's worth it. Okay, that's it for today. Oh my goodness, I've died so many times to none. It's just hard to find, well, like mid-range enemies in this game. And there's none. Oh, finally.
Chroma is flowing.
Ready to strike. Let's go fight. You're outmatched. Watch out, my elf. Not impressed. You're outmatched.
Hopefully there's more.
A storm is coming.
You're outmatched. Radiance away. Not impressed.
Take cover!
Please, revive! Harry it!
No, I didn't think she would do that.
Please stop my blade.
He doesn't like to talk to anyone. Oh, just a couple of enemies and I'm done.
Finesse and grace. Plain inked off my blade.
Let's carve a path. Here we go.
Just by the look of this, it's going to take a shit ton of time to actually level up. Not even close to level 32 with this strat. I'll see what I can do. I'll see you tomorrow.